What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. I'm back here with the usual suspects. Say hello, Gab and Maui.
Hello, hello.
Ang tagal pa ng UAAP!
Tagal pa. Pero we're going to have some games, no? Yung ongoing na Pinoy Liga, if you guys are watching, we're gonna get to watch a couple of games. But before that, tapusin na natin to. We did this series. This is our final episode for this mini series. We're doing recruit reviews. So we're reviewing initial recruits of each team, and we're going to talk about our last two teams today. But before we go through those teams, let me just remind everyone, today is May 4, 2023. May the 4th be with you. This is not the final list of recruits. I'm sure marami pang makukuhang recruits yung UP and Ateneo. Kasi alam mo naman, right after, the day after we did the Ateneo video, they just announced another recruit, yung Xavier Star. I'm forgetting his name now. Gab Maui, baka maalala nyo. But we missed out on Andrew Tan. Tama ba? Tama ba? Or something. Basta Xavier Star.
Andre Tan.
Andre, close enough.
Yeah. So, just so you know, anyone who's watching this after May 4, this might not be updated. All our answers here might be wrong. We could be completely wrong. Pasensya na, okay? So, with that said, we will do our best to talk about these recruits. Kahit na wala pa kami masyadong alam about these recruits. We've watched a couple of highlight videos. Tsaka yung vlog ni Topex. If any of you are watching Topex's vlog, very high quality materials, by the way. Inside scoop, correct. Let's start. So, as I mentioned, the last two schools are La Salle and UST. Both schools, to be fair, maraming recruits this coming season and the next seasons. So, take us through each recruit. Gab, sino ang mga recruits ng La Salle?
So for La Salle, despite having an intact roster, they recruited another roster of just like Ateneo, another team. So for season 86, they have DJ Mitchell, Jonel Policarpio, Matthew Rubico, Ryle Melencio, Ethan Alian, Boris Marasigan, Isaiah Phillips, another Phillips, Nathan Montecillo, and Moore Alao. And for season 87, they will have probably the most anticipated foreign student athlete in Henry Agunane.
Okay. So, those are all the recruits for La Salle. Maui, take us through the UST recruits.
For UST, they also finally recruited a lot of players on the backing of the SMC group. They have 3 foreign student athletes. They got Mohamed Tungkara, Peter Osang, also as a foreign student athlete. They get SJ Moore, one of the highly touted recruits. Gabriel Ubasan, a Phil-Canadian. Chase Lane, Tristan Bradley, Mark Lemit, and June Melencio, and Franz Diaz. For season 87, they also got Ryan Amsali from San Beda and James Una. So those are the names to look out for UST as of the moment.
Okay. Thank you, Maui. Lots of names from both teams. Lots of familiar names also. Names na matagal na natin hindi naririnig. Ryan Amsali. Parang sobrang tagal ko nang naririnig yung name na yun. Ha? Hindi mo ba nag-graduate yung guy na yun? But let's talk about it. So, wala nang paligoy-ligoy pa. Who is the most intriguing recruit for you? You can choose from either team. Pero sino sa inyo ang pinaka-intriguing recruit? Let's start with you, Gab.
All right. Most intriguing recruit, I will have to go with the homegrown athlete from UST, Mark Lemit. Now, he's intriguing. Remember, the question is intriguing, not the most exciting, the most surprising.
Most impactful, not necessarily.
Not the most impactful. Intriguing because he was dominating in the juniors division in the UAAP. Mainly because if you look at his body, he seemed like a man playing amongst boys already. He looked like a man. He's got some age on him, and he's got some muscle on him already. He's intriguing to me because he played big man in high school. He was the center, sometimes the power forward in that UST lineup, and he dominated. I mean, he was dominant both from outside and inside. And we always talk about that it's a very hard transition for big men in the juniors division to go to the seniors and transition to a wing because he's not that big. He's like 6'4", 6'3", around that height. So he's not that big. He's not gonna be able to play center. Power forward maybe is a small ball power forward, but the power forwards now in the seniors are pretty big as well. 6'7" power forwards are there already. So it's kind of hard to see him play those two front court positions. So he'll have to be a wing. And we can count in one hand the successful players in the seniors division who made that transition from big men to a wing player in the seniors division. However, in fairness to him, he does have perimeter skills. He can shoot.
Mm.
Yeah, he has a handle, although it's not that tight. If you want to be a wing player in the seniors division, you gotta have a tighter handle. He's fast for his size. I would say, he's pretty strong and he's fast. He's quick. So I do think he has some skills to build on. Now, whether he can make that successful transition remains to be seen. No, but I like him. I like his game. I think he can put some points on the board. He can defend multiple positions definitely. With his physique, no, I think he can bang inside if needed. We saw Mike Nieto, despite being 6'2", 6'3", still bang inside. So I'm intrigued by Mark Lemet. I think he could help. I think just he could help. It could be a big help for UST. Maui.
Okay. Before we go to Maui, just did a quick Google. Mark Lemet, 6'3". So 6'3" siya. And if you've seen him or you've seen photos of him, to be fair to Mark Lemet, he's not like a Mike Nieto na who was really big yung katawan and looked really slow, or like a Bacon
He's
Austria.
muscular.
He's muscular, but he's lean. So I feel like he has a good chance to transition into like the wing type player. He has the body type to be a wing. So yun lang. Just to comment on that. Maui.
And one more thing. If there's any coach who knows how to transition a big to a wing player, it's Pido Jarencio.
Yeah.
He's had so much experience with that. So
Dami
perfect for
niyang
him.
wings.
Balik na sa UST wings ni Pido Jarencio.
Wing team
from the early mid 2000s. If you're talking about intriguing players, I have two intriguing players. I'll start with La Salle. Baka sabihin nyo, we're all from Ateneo, so we didn't pick an intriguing player from La Salle. The first intriguing player that's been very intriguing to me kasi very hype talaga yung tao. We hear it from everyone. He was the MVP of the Rising Stars ng Slam. I think it's Jonel Policarpio. If Gab has been very adamant for us to watch si Topex Robinson, and if you watch yung films with La Salle, you can see that he really is going to crack the rotation most probably. They're trying out lineups. There's sometimes that they start him over Cambao. And I was browsing through the comment section. I was intrigued enough to see that people were saying, so is Jonel Policarpio now a point forward? So he's playing similar to Kevin Cambao. He's a very versatile forward. He knows how to pass the ball, dribble, score from the perimeter, drive. And I think La Salle is going to give him free rein. And it's going to be fun to watch La Salle if you watch some of the La Salle games. I think one of the first games ng La Salle sa PBA D-League, Cambao hit, I think, three or four three-pointers. So it looks like that La Salle is also going to play a wing-heavy lineup, probably with Phillips on the 5. We mentioned Henry Agonane as a potential recruit for season 87. But for season 86, the front court looks the same. It's going to be Mike Phillips, a little bit of probably Ben Phillips, and hopefully better playing by the other bigs. But I think La Salle is going to play small in a sense. When you look at the other spectrum,
Which they should have last season.
they should have with the talent that they have. But I also love Raven Cortez, no doubt about it. But if you look at the other spectrum naman, if you look at UST, we're talking about Pido, Jarencio going back. And when I look at the recruits, I see June Melencio. He comes from De La Salle Zobel. He's the brother of Melencio from La Salle, who's also a shooter. And if you look at history, Pido Jarencio has cultivated a lot of great small point guards. And I'm definitely very intrigued how June Melencio will be as a potential player, a prospect for UST. He tried out for La Salle, but according to a few articles that I've read, he went to UST because he thinks that he will be able to get more playing time and flourish more in Pido's.
Anyone could get playing time in UST.
Definitely. So is this the second coming of Jeric Fortuna? Will we see another De La Salle Zobel guard flourish in Pido Jarencio's wing heavy lineup? We'll see. So he's another intriguing player in my mind.
Good choices.
Okay, good picks, Maui. Actually, you picked my pick. I was gonna go for Melesio. For the same reasons. Actually, ang naisip ko sa kanya Renzo Subido, not Fortuna, but Subido type of player na also played for for UST. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Aljun. Melesio. I think this guy could. I think it was the right choice, sa totoo lang. I think he could really make an impact here in UST versus, playing behind all the guards in La Salle. So, if you want to say intriguing, he will get his chances in UST. He will get a shot. He will get a lot of chances in UST. That's all I can say.
Talaga.
That's why he's my pick.
If your name is not Nick Caballero, you don't have a sure slot in their UST roster. For sure. So,
sorry,
kung magaling ka, pasok ka.
But Gabby's right. Caballero is the only one probably a shoe-in to make the lineup. Season 86.
Grabe kayo. Wala naman akong sinasabing ganun. Kayo na nagsabi nun. But, okay. Next. So, let's focus in on the individual schools, no? So, Gabby kind of alluded to it, but I'm curious, no? For UST, who do you think will help Nick Caballero the most? Well, I sort of had my pick. For me, it's really June Melesio, and it's for the same reasons. I feel like he's a scorer. He's just kind of similar to the way he plays, like to the way Aljun Melesio plays. I think it was a smart move for him to move to UST. But Maui, who do you think would have like the biggest impact or would be able to help Nick Caballero from the get-go? We're talking about like season 86. Sino ba? Because this guy needs help, diba? So sino bang pwedeng tingnan ni Nick Caballero pag dribble down na niya yung bola, titingnan niya yung 4 guys on the court, who am I passing the ball to? Like, who can I trust this season? Let's go with you, Maui.
That's a very loaded and hard question. When you talk about foreign student athletes, we're not even sure which one of the 3 is going in. But if you ask me, and I look at the recruits, it has to be SJ Moore or Gab Ubosan. There's a reason why they recruited other wing players similar to NU. They have to get players that can facilitate, that can play make and make baskets. And I'm hoping that from SJ Moore's performance during the NBTC, if you guys watched that, he was the MVP of the All-Star game. A lot of teams were trying to recruit this guy, and he has very good size as a wing player, 6'2", 6'3". That's very good in the UAAP. And you have to look at, from time immemorial, if you look at Pido Jarencio's teams during his time in UST, it was all about the wing players. It was about Jojo Duncil. It was about Dylan Ababu. It was all about the wing players.
Don't
shooters,
mention them. They give me nightmares.
players who could create,
Masakit ulo ni Gab.
players who were versatile to defend multiple positions and shoot three-pointers. Kasim Mirza, another player that comes into mind. But yeah, so definitely probably one of the wing players. If I were to choose, I'd probably go SJ Moore.
Okay, highly recruited SJ Moore. Good pick, Maui. Gab.
So similar pick to Maui. I don't want to swerve, but he was my pick. It has to be SJ Moore. Uh, he's athletic. I think if Pido is a type of coach that I think he is, I think they're gonna run a lot. I think they're gonna play fast. They're gonna play with a lot of outside shooting, and this guy has the offensive tools. Just by his sheer athleticism, he can from his games in the NCAA, he did a lot of slashing. He ran pick and roll. He has an outside shot. So I think if you're talking about from game one pa lang, who's gonna score aside from Nick Caballero, I think it's SJ Moore. Yung tama si
Has to
Maui.
be.
He has the tools already. And if you talk about someone who can potentially get UST students and alumni back into the seats of Araneta and MOA, I think this guy is it. SJ Moore. He's a highlight reel. I mean, he's a high flyer, uh, underrated. Or everyone talks about the high flying LeBron Lopez, and this guy is a high flyer too. So if there's someone that you want to banner the UST colors for this season, someone that the UST faithful can be excited about is SJ Moore. I do, however, am hesitant to see. I think he will get pulled at times by Pido because nakita ko sa NCAA, medyo may isang gear lang siya eh. Parang gear 5
Right.
or gear 5, yung gear 6 lang siya all throughout. Parang go lang siya ng go. And if you look at his stat lines in the NCAA juniors, he had a bunch of turnovers every game. Just 5 plus turnovers
Mhm.
for some games. Just because he just keep on going, attack and attack. Doesn't really play make that much yet. I think that's something he has to develop. Slow the game down. Uh, Analyze the spacing on the floor. Get your teammates involved. That's something I think Coach Pido will definitely teach him. Again, he's a wing. He has a lot of tools that can really help him in the seniors division. I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see him. You kind of like Renz Abando. Although Renz Abando was more polished when he came in, but similar athletic wing. I think
Classic
UST
UST
found the gem.
wing.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Okay,
Sam.
just one point. Funny you mentioned LeBron Lopez. I was gonna say, uh, bilang nung I was watching his games nung high school, kind of reminds me of LeBron. Like you would think, first best asset niya talaga is his athleticism. But I actually think na he was slightly better than LeBron. At least when LeBron was in high school, or at least when I saw LeBron in high school, I feel like LeBron was a bit more raw. So that's sort of what I remember. In SJ Moore. So, UST got a good one here. I think sa totoo lang feel ko SJ Moore picked UST then because I feel like he knew na he was gonna shine. And it's a good program now, with the SMC and with Coach Pido. But
He's probably starting.
yeah, exactly. Auto
Honestly.
starter. Auto starter.
I mean, who else?
Okay. So we talked about UST. Now let's talk about La Salle. And for La Salle, they didn't make the final four last season, but they have a very, very good team already from last season, carrying over from last season. So kind of similar problem to teams like Ateneo and UP na they have a very good team already, but they heavily recruited a lot of new players and maraming magagaling, maraming malalaki. So for Lasal, kind of similar to what we asked in Ateneo and UP, who do you think will crack the rotation dun sa mga recruits? You have the Phillips brothers still there. You have um the La Salle
Nonoy,
rookies from last year. You still have
Evanelli,
Nonoy, you still have
everyone.
Evanele. Everyone. Ang nawala lang basically is si Shawnee, 'di ba? Si Shawnee. Um, yung idol ni Gab, si Manuel is still there. So,
Oh my
who
God. Oh
is
my
gonna
God.
sinong recruit will do you think will crack the rotation for this season in La Salle? Gab.
All right. So Maui already mentioned Junel Policarpio. I think he's a shoe-in. I mean, from the preseason videos and all the hype surrounding the guy, I think he's a shoe-in to be in the rotation. We saw games that Kevin Kambao was coming off the bench and Junel Policarpio was the one starting. I think that's a brilliant move. You can do wondrous things with Junel Policarpio on the floor. However, I do want to go to someone who I think is gonna fight for a rotation spot and is probably going to crack the rotation. DJ Mitchell, one and done guy, NCAA Division One, uh, is known as a shooter. So if there's anything that you can't get enough of in today's game of basketball, it's shooting. And there's a slot that open up. Shawnee Winston is gone. So you talk about guard rotation. So that's Mark Nonoy, Evanelli, Penny Estacio, and there's one more open. So I think that's DJ Mitchell's slot to go to. Uh, my runner up is Ethan Alian from La Salle Green Hills. Why I like him? He's a big guard. He's a big guard, does not score but plays defense. And I think Coach Topex is gonna love him just because he hustles down the floor. I think yung odd man out slightly for me si Penny Estacio because he's a bit small and they have already two other smaller guards in Nelly and Nonoy. So kind of doesn't make sense to sub out another to sub in another small guard for another small guard. So I think if they want to go big, they want to go with length. See, Ethan Alian will definitely have a chance to crack the rotation. Those are my two choices.
Maui.
Yeah, I think when you look at I have to agree with Gab. Si Jonel Policarpio is a shoe-in. Probably will get minutes. It'll be intriguing to see how he plays with Kevin Kiambao and Mike Phillips. But uh, the main position that really has a lot of playing time is the shooting guard slot behind the departure of Shawnee Winston. So probably I'd go also with DJ Mitchell, given that he has NCAA Division One experience. I hope it's not the same as somebody we talked about before that has NCAA Division One experience, but this is a guard, so he's probably very skillful. But if you talk about my runner-up, a potential sleeper among all of this, I'd probably pick Matthew Rubico. If you watch yung NCAA juniors, this guy was a menace. If you watch also yung NBTC, he was really very good. And La Salle likes to play two guards, 2-point guards. Penny Estacio could probably make the leap and become the starter. Mark Nonoy will probably be off the bench to provide the energy. So it's probably going to be another guard. So I'm hoping that it's going to be Matthew Rubico. I think he has the tools. He's a very high energy guard also. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be Penny Estacio, to be honest. Penny Estacio will probably step in. He showed a lot of his potential last year. He's a very steady guy. When you're playing with Evanelli, it's good to also have another guy that can play make. So having 2-point guards with 3 wing bigs will be good for La Salle. But to me, I think talaga yung panalo talaga sa, I have to say it, yung panalo talaga sa recruits ng La Salle is, it has to be Topex Robinson. We haven't talked about it that much, but I think the hiring of Topex Robinson will have a good effect on La Salle. I hope they give him a chance if they struggle early. Coach Derek Pumanen was very good also when he came on from CEU. But I think Topex
Mhm.
Robinson will take them to the next level. Ito yung mga
Mhm.
new age coaches eh. Tsaka if
Mhm.
you talk
Mhm.
about coaches, you don't see Tab Baldwin giving praise to a lot of coaches. I think if I read it correctly before, he was giving praise to Topex Robinson.
Right.
So we'll see what La Salle will show this season. I hope it's not like last year. We are all Ateneans, but if La Salle is struggling, it's not fun. We want the best Ateneo La Salle games.
It's
We
kind of
want
fun. It's kind of fun.
but it's a bit fun. It's funny, but I think we want a more competitive Ateneo La Salle, definitely. Outside of those years with Deronteng and Bala, La Salle has not been that dominant. And with the lineup that they have, a lot of expectations really weigh on them. And I think that the hiring of Coach Topex, a fresh start sa coaching staff will be good for La Salle. We'll see.
Okay. Um, I think the obvious choice was Mitchell and Policarpio. Policarpio. You guys talked about it, so we don't need to talk about that. Actually, I'm jumping off what Maui said. Maui, nunahan mo ako because the next question was you're talking about La Salle and UST. And Gab, you've always talked about this. One of the most important things in building a championship contender or building a competitive team is culture. And yung one of the core proponents of that culture is the coach. We've seen it with Tab, we've seen it with Coach Gold, we've seen it in the NU with um pangalan ni coach
Jeff
ng
Napa.
NU, Jeff
Jeff
Napa.
Napa.
So my question is, Maui alluded to it, but my question is, in terms of culture, long-term development of the team and the program, who do you think will have a bigger impact on the team? Is it Coach Topex in La Salle or Coach Pido in UST? Let's go with
Interesting.
you. Let's Maui, do you want to say anything more since I feel like I know what you're going to answer?
Uh to be honest, when you ask that question, I really don't know. But I'm happy for both schools. I'm happy that UST got Pido back. UST has not been the same since Pido left. I don't think outside of the Alden Ayo years, which is what only 1 year, I
One
think
year, 1 year,
one
2
year.
years.
UST has not been that relevant in the UAAP, and it's not the same. But when you talk about setting the culture up, I'd have to go with somebody already proven dun sa school. So I'd have to go with Pido. I'm hoping that he reverses the fortunes of UST. If he doesn't reverse the fortunes of UST, I really don't know what will be the next step for UST, to be honest. But I'm picking Pido to set the tone for UST.
Okay. So Maui's picking the tried and tested coach for the team. The return of the King Tiger, Coach Pido. Looking forward to
The
team.
King Kalbo. The King
Oh,
Kalbo.
I was gonna say I'm looking forward to the Team Kalbo. The
Albo,
return
yeah,
of Team
sure.
Kalbo. Sige, so Coach Pido, makes sense Maui, 'di ba? Tried and tested na si Coach Pido. Just bring him back. He's a SMC loyalist. So makes sense na SMC's, handling the team. Pido is there. Gab, do you have the same thoughts?
I actually have to agree with Maui. It's Pido. For this reason, no. Uh, Pido is a UST alumnus. Uh, Again, sabi nga ni Maui, he's proven. He is beloved by the UST community. I know UST alumni myself. I know they love Pido. They love Pido. He's just ingrained in that community, in that university. So I think he'll have a longer leash because your question was longer term. I think Pido has a longer leash.
Yeah.
Even if they don't succeed for some years, he will stay because yun nga, he's the guy. He's the guy there. People love him. Si Topex, I think has a shorter leash. I think
La
a lot of
Salle.
him. mga Lasalista para mga Atenista lang yan eh. You're only beloved if you're winning. So I think you see 1 or 2 years or 1 or 2 seasons that Lasal will struggle. I think Topex gets booted out. Honestly, he's that's the attitude of Lasal. I mean, we've seen it. Derek Pumarin was their coach in the past championship teams. He's a Lasallian, but one underwhelming season and he's out. Diba? Same thing with Coach Topex. I love Coach Topex. I think he can build a culture there, but yun nga, any sign of a struggle, I think the Salians will turn on him. I don't think you can say the same for Pido. I think if they struggle, the USD community will still side with Pido. So that's my thinking.
Tsaka, just to add lang Tsaka, sorry to say, I don't think UST has any place to go but up. When you end the season,
That's
when
true.
you end
That's true.
I mean, if you end the season 1-13, you win the first game, you lose the next 13, you have nowhere to go but up, similar to UE last year. So yeah, I think Pido Jarencio will probably have the longer leash. If history is to tell us, La Salle, much like Ateneo, is not a very good community when it comes to losing cultures. If the team struggles on the get-go, it will be very hard for them to justify Topex staying for a very long time. So hopefully, my hope is even if they struggle, they give Topex time to develop the culture. They have to understand that UP and Ateneo took a chance to build the culture and they now have to take a chance to build the culture. If they don't build the culture, it will just be like a circus. Every year, I don't know, it will be the same every year. Paikot-ikot lang. We recruit a ton of guys, but we don't get the culture that we want. And we don't get guys that work as hard on paper. Diba? Parang the culture is a must. I think now for the UAAP and schools have catch on to Ateneo. They have to build the culture, or it's not about having the best players. It's about having that culture, that winning mentality, and that coach leading them to the promised land. So we'll see what the future holds.
Okay, really, before we end, really good points, guys. Sa totoo lang, I was gonna answer Coach Topex. I felt like he was, alam mo na, he's a lot younger. Maybe he's more of a player's coach. He can, really mentor these players. Kita mo naman, nakakita ka na ba ng coach na may vlog or may YouTube account, 'di ba? I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if we're talking
New
about
age.
building the
New age.
culture, that's like a modern way of like marketing the culture that you're building in La Salle, 'di ba? You're posting it on YouTube. This is really a new age coach. So, that's how I sort of imagine this answering this question. But you guys convinced me. I think it's Coach Pido. Good point by Gab. Good point by Gab na, oo nga no, si yung Lasal, because it's a Lasal community. If hindi maging successful si Topex in like the first 2 years, I don't think he's gonna stay there. That's a good point. Hindi ko yun naisip.
He definitely won't.
Pare, if you just look
Marami
at
mo kilala na Lasalista sa buhay ko. Alam kong parang sila mga Atenista. Mataas standards nila.
Yeah,
And hindi siya Lasalista. Yun yung tama ka
Yun
eh.
pa,
Hindi
yun
siya
pa yung
Lasal alumnus eh. At least si Pido, di ba? Alumnus.
Isipin mo,
Anyway,
Derek
Maui,
Pumarin, Lasal
yun
alumnus.
nga eh.
But to
Good
add to
point.
that point, Sam, if you look at yung videos ni Topex Robinson on YouTube, there's some videos that they're scrimmage. Some of the games they lost, if you look at the comments, there are comments that he should be fired this early. He should be fired this early.
Scrimmage pa lang. Scrimmage pa lang. He should be
I
fired
saw
na.
this, boy. I saw this.
Yeah.
Tama.
It's not crazy. So I agree with Gab. Coach Topex will have a ton of weight on his shoulder, but I hope Lasal gives him a chance.
Good point, Gab. And I think Maui, tama ka rin, no? for UST, there's nowhere to go but up, di ba? Manalo lang sila ng dalawang games, the first and the last game. Sasabihin ni Pido, doble tayo from last year, 2x.
Oh,
2x
100%
wins.
improvement.
100%
100% improvement. Ganda nung graph niya no? Pataas. So, you guys are right. It's probably going to be Pido. But, crossing our fingers for Coach Topex. Okay. I think that's it for today's questions. Any player that before we end, any player that we missed that you sort of just want to shout out or talk about real quick? Gab or Maui?
I do have some guys, but they're more for season 87 Kasi I'm interested in the UST recruits, the transferees, Ryan Amsali and James Una. Amsali, you know it. You mentioned it, Sam. This guy was a big name years ago.
NU din
in the
yan. NU
juniors.
boy din yan.
Oh, NU boy was dominant in the juniors division. So I'm interested how he will fit in UST. And James Una, 6'5". No, he's not the quickest guy, but he's an old school big man. Old school big man, back to the basket. Guy you can dump the ball to inside and make close range shots. I could foresee him having a role similar to what Cedric Baby Boy Manzano from Adamson does. Just a guy nag-abang under the rim, you get those offensive rebounds, you get those dump passes from the guards and just get some easy baskets. I can foresee him having that role. So I'm interested in those guys, but that's for season 87 pa. That's it. And yung mga FSAs, because honestly, I don't know where they're going, but it's probably not gonna be Adama Faye or Faye, however you pronounce it. Yes, Adama Faye was probably their second best player last season, but he wasn't really a good player. He was a
Raw.
big player.
Yeah.
A raw player wasn't really there wasn't really any skills there. I do remember yung final game ng La Salle against UST to tie Adamson for that fourth slot to force the playoff. Adama Faye was 0 out of 10, 12 from the free throw line. The guy couldn't make a free throw. He was so horrible. So I don't think he's gonna be the FSA. I think they recruited si Tongkara and Peter Osang for a reason. I'm leaning towards Osang to get that one FSA slot in their roster. So we'll see. I'm very interested how Coach Pido will form that roster, because as I said, if your name is not yung Nick Caballero, you don't have a sure slot in this team.
Okay, Maui. Anything to add?
Just for the parting words, I think what I'm most looking forward to out of all the recruits from all the teams is to see how the Phil foreigners will perform this coming season. Similar to previous seasons, mga names like sila Jaime Malonzo, Shani Winston, kay Sean Keys nga sa La Salle dati na hype, pero or even Troy Reich from Wake Forest, I mentioned kanina. We'll have to see how these Phil foreigners will fare when the UAAP season starts. Definitely we will be surprised by a few names. I'm 100% sure that we will be surprised, especially guys like with Shani Winston. We weren't that high naman before. Then when the season started, nagulat na lang tayo. I didn't even know who Jaime Malonzo was until he dunked that 30 Ravenna during the first Ateneo La Salle. I can't forget that. And I said this guy was going to be a big problem for all the teams. So I'm very interested to see how all these Phil foreigners fared when the season starts. But I'm very excited for Mason Amos. I have to say it again.
Wow!
Homer naman ito.
We'll see.
Si Maui.
Okay mo na, balik pa rin kay Mason Amos.
No, but really, it's really about the Phil foreigners. Let's see who will surprise. Every team has a Phil foreigner. UST has a few, La Salle has a few. DJ Mitchell played for a Division 1 team for 4 years. So let's see how it breaks out when the season starts. I'm very excited for Phil Oil. I'm very excited for the Pinoy Liga games. Let's see. PBA League, unfortunately, I think only La Salle is playing for UAAP. So let's see.
Okay, that's it. That's it for today's episode. That's our last episode for the recruit review so far. Halfway into the year. Mahaba-haba pa yung antayin natin before the UAAP, but as Maui mentioned, marami tayong mapapanood, no? Phil Oil, Pinoy Liga. So we'll definitely talk more about the UAAP teams performances in those games. Kasi alam niyo naman, wala na kaming mapag-uusapan na iba kung hindi namin gawin yun. So, we'll do that. Stay tuned for that. Before we go, don't forget, comment down below. What are your thoughts? What are your answers to the questions? Did we miss any player? Baka as we're recording this right now, may bagong recruit na naman yung La Salle or UST. I wouldn't be surprised. But don't forget also, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. That's it for us. See ya. Bye-bye.